Hello, welcome to this week's One Image My Edit. So this week I'm going to be showing you how to adjust eyes in Photoshop so you can make them look a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to show you how to take a normal standard image of an eye and then create something like this. So it's quite a simple and easy to do process. I'm just going to be showing you how to use layer masks within Photoshop. If you're new to Photoshop, then this is going to be a really good tutorial for you because it's quite simple. Now, I've got my 5-step blueprint to photography challenge starting next Monday. If you're interested in that, then just look at the text underneath this video. You can follow that link or just go to dslrguruchallenge.com. You spend 5 days with me, get off auto, and start shooting on manual. So sign up to that if you're interested. It's a really good week. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you then so you can see everything that I've got. Hi Mark, hi Sue, thanks for joining, hope you're well. Okay, so within Photoshop then, the first thing we're going to do is obviously you're going to open up your image and then we're going to make what's known as a curves adjustment. So if you can't see your layers panel, then just simply come up to window and you'll see that layers is there, and also history as well. That's a good one to have open because you can go back if you make a mistake. So what we're going to do is come down to the bottom here and you can see it's going to say create new fill or adjustment layer, and we're going to select on that and then just scroll up to where it says curves. Okay, so this is the curves adjustment. Now, what this will enable us to do is lighten or brighten the image. So I click in the middle. If I push up, it's going to brighten, and if I put it down, it's going to darken. So we're going to brighten the whole image just to try and get some of that eye popping a little bit more. So something around there. Okay. Now, once we've done that, you can see here we've got the layer mask. Now, this is white at the minute, so that means it's showing us the adjustment that we've just made. So we're going to invert that. So I'm going to press Command or Control I, and you can see now that has now gone black. So what that means is that the actual adjustment has been hidden, so we can bring this back. So what we do is come to the brush tool up here, and we're going to make sure that the foreground color is set to white. Okay, and I'm going to drop the opacity and the flow a little bit as well. And what that means is that we're going to have a much smoother blend. And if you come up to the top where your brushes are, where it says hardness, just drop that down to 0. And it means then we've got a really soft brush. Now we can control the size of the brush with the brackets on our keyboard. So I'm just going to move my keyboard. There we go. So you can see the bracket keys make that brush bigger and smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the brush fairly small. And we can see there's the light here. There's the softbox that's coming in. So if we think about this, how light works, it's coming from left to right. So this area here is going to be the highlighted area. Okay, this is what would be picked up by the light. So what I'm doing is just going over where you can see the bright areas of the eye. So I'm just literally just following what the eye is showing us. And you can see there, there's all the bits of detail and also in there as well. So we can brighten these areas up. So I'm just literally following what the eye has, following all the highlights there. Okay, so we could do this side as well if we want. There. So once we've done that, that's given us you know, a bit of a brighter eye. So if we come to our history panel and click on the camera, that means that we've taken a snapshot, so we can go back and just have a quick look. So we've gone from there to there, and we've just brightened the eye a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a solid color to this. We're going to add 2 different solid colors, and what this enables you to do is paint in a color onto the eye, which is really cool. So all we need to do is come up to the top where it says layer, click on there, and then go to new fill layer, and then select solid color. Okay, and just press OK to that. Okay, so now we can select any color we want. So let's go for and the good thing is you can come back and change this whenever you want. Let's go for something maybe something like a yellow, orangey yellow, something like that. Press OK, and obviously we need to get rid of this this big bulk of color. So what we need to do is come down to the blending options, which is down here. So we click on that and then just scroll down, and let's select overlay. You can do that, or soft light. We'll select overlay. So now we've done that, obviously that's affected all of the image. So again, we're going to use this layer mask, which is the white area here. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to invert that like we did with the curves panel. So Control or Command I. You can select, sorry, so I select that, press Control Command I, and that will invert it. So you can see now that again that process has been hidden. So we're already on the brush tool. We've already got the white foreground color and the flow and opacity set. So now let's just have some fun. So I'm going to paint in around these areas here. So I'm just going to pick up maybe some of these highlighted areas here. And again, you can come back and change this color anytime you want. So you can just double click here, and then you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, so that's the cool benefit of this. But you have to make sure you're on the inverted layer to actually apply it. So let's just add some gold areas here. And again, this is just being really way out there and just stepping into the world of being really creative and playing around. Okay, so now we've done that, let's do that again. So let's add another solid color. So we're just going to go to layer, new fill layer, solid color. Okay, so we're just literally doing the same step, and then let's add something that's quite similar to the eyes. So she's got blue eyes, so I reckon around there. Press OK, and then again come down to the layers panel, and we can do overlay, we can do soft light. Let's try soft light this time, because that would just be a little bit more softer. Again, let's click on the layer mask there, and let's invert that. So Control or Command I, and then again we can now start to use the paintbrush. So we can use a paintbrush and just start painting. I'm going to actually drop the flow and the opacity ever so slightly, just to get a better blend. So I'm just going to paint in around there. So what I'm doing is just enhancing what's already there. Okay, so we've brightened it, we've added a couple of colors, and we can also as well just go over some of the yellow just to blend that in a little bit more. And I'm going to come back to this this adjustment here, the actual yellow, and I'm going to bring the opacity down a little bit, because that yellow is a little bit too strong. So if I bring it all the way to 0, it's going to get rid of it completely. So I'm just going to push this up ever so slightly, something around there. That looks quite cool. That's good. So that now means that we've got, you know, a little bit more control over the whole of the image. And if we want to add a little bit more yellow back in, we can just paint that in there. Okay, so let's take another snapshot and we can see where we're at. So this was the original image. Then we added a curves adjustment and we brightened the whole image. And then we've gone in and we've added a yellow and a blue. And we can still blend this in a little bit more if we want to here. And like I said, and I keep saying, is that the good thing with this is that we can change the colors whenever we want. So if you're not happy with a color, you can come back and just change it. And that's really that's the good part of this, is that it just gives you full control. And you can see that as I move this, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to repaint it back in. You can just go and select a color. So if you want something that's a little bit different, you can. So yeah, you can be as creative as you want, and you can control the brightness of it by moving it left and right. So let's just dull this down a little bit, because I haven't picked the exact color that works for this. It needs to be a little bit dull, so something around there. That's okay. We'll take another snapshot. So that's a little bit better. That's just treated it and just dulled it down ever so slightly. So we've still got this kind of muddy yellow and then a blue kind of color to it as well. And again, if we wanted to, we could come to the opacity and just bring that down a little bit, so we can bring more of the natural eye color through, so we're not making it look, you know, too false. Okay, so once we've done that, we can create a new layer. So if we just come down to the bottom here where it's got the square and the plus sign, if we click on that, it's created a whole new layer, so a blank layer. Okay, now what we're going to do is something that is really, really handy, especially for those of you that are doing cutouts at the minute in the Facebook groups. You know, a lot of you are doing cutouts. This will help you as well. So once we've created that layer, go to Image, and then go to Apply Image. Okay, and by default it will be Merge. You need it on Merge. Blending mode is normal. Just click OK. And what you'll see is that we've basically created a whole new layer of all the things that we've just done. So if I come up to the Move tool, I can move this, and you can see there's the image underneath. And what we've done is created a whole new layer based upon the adjustments we've just done. Okay, so that means that we can now adjust this globally, which is really, really cool. So let's go up to Filter and then come down to Sharpen, and let's go to Unsharp Mask. So what we're going to do is, obviously we're going to sharpen it. Now the radius here, so if we push this up, that's going to kind of sharpen bigger areas. If we bring it down, that's going to sharpen smaller areas. And you can get a live, this is a live preview, so you can see exactly what you're getting. If you go too far, it's going to look a little bit false. It's going to start bringing a little bit of noise in as well. So it only needs a little bit of sharpening. And I think the radius, adjusting that is what the you know, that's the trick, is just getting this right. So I think somewhere around there. So okay. So again, once we've done that, now what we're going to do is create another layer mask. Okay, so we're going to come down to the bottom here, add layer mask, and it's a white one. So again, we're going to invert that. So Control or Command I, and then we're going to use our brush tool. So come over to the brush tool. So now what we're doing is we're just going to paint areas. I'm going to push the flow and opacity back up to 100, and we're going to paint in the areas that we want to become sharp. And you'll see that on the layer mask here, it will start to come through white. So as we start painting this back in, we're just selecting them colors that we brought in earlier. And we could sharpen these areas here if we wanted to, just to bring a little bit of detail back. But it's mainly this area here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on there. And you can see, yeah, pretty much the eye, the whole of the eye needs to come back. So this is a really, really nice little trick, adding that, adding an apply image where you're creating a whole new layer. There we go. And again, we can come back to the opacity and just look at the difference. So there's the before and there's the after. It's only slight, and I know that by looking at this, the before and after, I've gone a little bit too much. So I'm going to bring it down to around 70%, something like that, 71. That's good. Okay, and then create another snapshot. So we can see that that was the before and that's the after of the sharpening. So it's done quite well. If we look through the whole stages, so we've got the original eye there. Okay, let's just zoom out a bit so we get a bit of a better perspective. I then done, that was one that I was doing earlier. So the first stage was creating these curves tools, so just pushing the curves, and again we can come back to that. And then the next stage from there was adding the solid colors, painting them in, and remembering that we can go back to these anytime and change them. And then again here, that was the snapshot that I'd done from changing the color, and then just from sharpening it. And you can see there, that's the final result. So you can see the other one that I was doing earlier here. So again, it's the same exact same process you can see here, except that I was just using different colors. You can see there that the colors are slightly different. So yeah, that's how you do it. It's as simple as that. Now I know there's a lot of steps and it can seem quite daunting, but if you just repeat that process over and over again, after you've done this 3 times, it will just sink in and you'll remember it. You can obviously then go on to do other adjustments as well. Like I did here, you can see I've actually added a levels adjustment on the one that I was messing around with earlier. So that's simply coming down to here, selecting levels, and then just brightening the whole thing. Okay, but again, we then invert that, so Control or Command I, and then just use the brush tool to bring back any areas that we want to brighten. So it just means that we're not making a global adjustment. We're just adjusting to what we want. So again, this level step is just something that's a next step up from the curves. It's just another adjustment. So again, do a snapshot from that. You can see the difference that's made. It's quite big, isn't it? So you can see there, yeah. So there's the steps. So it's quite easy. Once you get used to the steps and you've repeated them, you'll get some really, really good results, I promise. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Okay, don't forget, if you want to join me on my 5-step blueprint to photography challenge, that starts on Monday. Just go to dslrguruchallenge.com. You can sign up there. It's absolutely free. You'll get loads and loads and loads of training from me. You'll learn how to get off auto and start shooting in manual mode. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, and if you've got any questions, just whack them in the feed. I'll happily answer them. But I'd love to see your results, your images. Let me know how you get on. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.